Morning folks. September was one of Boogie's more active months in recent times as he ramps up both his e-begging across all different platforms and also tries to celebrate the downfall of the last bastion of his trolls. Unsurprisingly, both are massively unsuccessful. During September there were 14 TikTok videos, however during one of them he also revealed that he had a Francis Rage side account. He released 4 videos on that, none of them really noteworthy so I'm not going to bring them up, especially because a lot of them are just ones he would also upload to YouTube. And as a quick aside, I have no intention of ever covering Jesse in these recaps, so for all I know, Boogie could just sat there for a minute straight screaming the N-word and would be none the wiser. Why would I give a shit about a character who speaks slower than I do, even when I play him at 2 times speed, has never once been fucking funny in the 12 years that I've known him, and is so unimportant Boogie can't even bother to keep his fucking name spelled right between the different uploads? I will throw him a bone here though. Out of the 14 uploads, none of them were him duetting with a potentially underage girl, so I guess he's moving in the right direction there. About 9 of them were meant to be comedy as well, and obviously none of them were funny, but at least they were short. 2 of them in particular though were him going full victim mode about TikTok apparently isn't supporting him well enough and sharing his videos, which is why he then made the Francis Rage's side account. This has been every single social media platform ever invented now that Boogie's made this fucking claim about. He also then made a video showing 2 drunken girls who are being interviewed who basically just say they want to get fucked and they don't care about men's feelings, and he wonders out loud if maybe Andrew Tate was right. Boogie's reaction to it really isn't that important because he'll say whatever because it's Boogie. The funny thing though was his fanbase then all started coming out and saying Tate was right about it, which is weird because they were all super like anti-Tate last month. But Boogie, if your fanbase is that fickle, you've raised a really shitty fanbase. He then came out with a video giving his quote-unquote unique advice to a woman who said she was happier when she was skinnier, and his advice pretty much is that people should be happy in their bodies, but also happy enough to look after themselves and to try and lose weight to be thinner. Like, we can file this in the rapidly growing fucking mountain of times Boogie should keep his opinions to his fucking self. Like, this is a woman who is fat, giving the honest opinion that she was happier when she was skinny. Boogie himself immediately starts off by saying, well, I have a unique opinion here because I have been obese since 8. No, it means your opinion's fucking irrelevant here in this discussion because you've never been fucking thin, so you can't even compare. He also makes a point that you cannot be healthy when you're at his size, which is kind of weird then when you compare it to his health updates for the month, and of course, at the end of September, Boogie posted his weight update for the month, which left him at being 398.3 pounds, but also a couple hours later at 395 pounds on exactly the same day. Like, I don't know anyone who has a weight variation of 3 full pounds in like a 2-hour period, so there's that to start with. Boogie also claimed that this occurred at his doctor's office, however obviously provided exactly no evidence for that, and says that his doctor had given him a clean bill of health. Unsurprisingly, when he got a single comment disagreeing with that, he started to rant that people were somehow upset that he was healthy, and, you know, not that people were just not believing him. Instead, claiming people were mad and also fat-phobic. Like, I'm amazed he didn't throw in a, you're also racist and transphobic somehow, you know, just for good measure to make himself feel better for being laughed at. So at the start of the month he says it's not possible to be morbidly obese like him and also healthy, but at the end of the month, because now he's arguing about himself and trying to seem really impressive and cool, he's saying that he is 100% healthy, signed off by a doctor, and you're literally a monster and also Hitler for doubting that. Like, maybe just pick a single fucking stance. He claims he still has his back pain, which is weird because he also claimed previously that his back pain was gone due to his working out. This is from a guy who's made a point that he has crippling pain from his lymphedema every fucking day and also needs a knee replacement, but now apparently those both are just fine because he pretended to work out for like a month or 2 there. That wouldn't fix a knee replacement and lymphedema. But, like, you know, I don't like to be sour. So I would like to pass on my congratulations to Boogie on this definitely real news that I really do believe and he won't contradict by next month. And I do look forward to the boxing match, you know, in a couple months. You know, the boxing match that he said he was going to do once he got a clean bill of health from his doctor, you just got it. You literally just said you just got it signed off by a doctor as a clean bill of health. So it's weird that you didn't tag Ethan Ralph in your tweet there, or Keemstar to say that you're ready for the boxing match that, you know, we all thought was definitely going to happen. But forget about the boxing match, guys. Like, forget about the gym. Those are old news. He has a new thing to be pretending to be doing. And of course, it's his therapy saga, where now he's told by his therapist that he's autistic apparently, and claims this on the 4th of September, that he was told this a couple of months ago, even though he only started therapy in the middle of August, so I don't know where he gets the months from. Boogie can't even keep the most recent lie consistent after 2 fucking weeks. It's especially bad when he goes like, oh, I have autism now, guys, so you can't, it was an autistic meltdown, you can't use this against me. But then on the 2nd, when he's doing a live stream, he talks about how he doesn't actually think he's autistic, but maybe I am because I like Magic the Gathering. It's just so fucking weird. Of course, we also get him making up entire conversations he has with his therapist, which is just great. Like, you know you're telling the truth when you have to make up very awkward conversations with someone, right? Boogie, of course, is treating his therapy the same way he's treated his fucking weight loss. He goes for a day, talks about how difficult it is, and I also feel sorry for me, guys, it's so hard on me. Then, a week later, claims how therapy has literally changed his entire worldview, how he's basically saved as a person now with no issues whatsoever, and then starts giving people advice on therapy like he basically is a fucking therapist now. It's exactly the same cycle we see repeated over and over and over again with his countless weight loss journeys, and we're now at the point where he's confident to just make up conversation he has with therapists to make him look better, making up a new diagnosis for Shields, massive spurgouts online, and then just going like, sorry guys, that was an autistic meltdown, so you can't criticize me. He's even retroactively using it as an excuse for the Frank Castle situation, and also weirdly saying how he used to feel bad about his Francis videos because people compared them to autistic meltdowns, which of course weirdly never stopped him from doing them. But now he's saying that Francis having meltdowns is basically just his autistic meltdowns from when he was a child, so it's okay. So we're back to Francis actually being Boogie now. Like, I can't wait till next month when he claims Francis has nothing to do with him again, and it's purely a character. Spoiler, we don't even have to wait a month for that, guys. Also, guys, we get the claim on the 22nd of September, you know, about a month after he started therapy, that he is now mentally stable. So, I don't know, put your predictions in the comment section below when he have his first depressed day on Twitter or when his next meltdown will be, and then he'll blame his mental health for it. And, of course, speaking of Twitter, Boogie started the month off strong, you know, as a man who doesn't care about things that don't concern him. You know, a man who just doesn't get upset about pointless things online, and as a man who's basically a mental health guru because of his week and a half of therapy at this point. And, of course, he starts it by complaining about Republicans for literally 3 days straight on his Twitter feed, which includes him hilariously retweeting Marjorie Taylor Greene, which to a lot of people probably doesn't mean much, but to me it's a personal victory because last month he liked to accuse me of being a right-wing super nut who retweets Marjorie Taylor Greene. So now out of the two of us, only one of us has actually retweeted Marjorie Taylor Greene. Good work there, Boogie. Thanks for the win, mate. I don't know, it's just so weird when even on the 14th this month he's tweeting about how he's politically agnostic and he doesn't care as long as you just don't hurt him or someone he loves. But at the same time he'll do 3-day-long meltdowns because apparently MAGA Republicans are coming back to reality, which of course gets him pushback, which then leads to him claiming that he's had many long discussions with MAGA Republicans, and just no, he just didn't. It's Boogie. Boogie doesn't discuss anything with anyone. He'll put up a stupid tweet and then he'll look for the worst possible tweet response to him and then claim like Nazis are coming after him because he doesn't like MAGA or some bullshit like that. Like hell, Boogie even decided to talk about a Joe Biden quote randomly this month where he states that Joe Biden was tackled during a speech by a MAGA supporter, which of course confused the fuck out of me because I'm generally pretty politically agnostic, so I was like, oh fuck, maybe I missed that, I'll look it up. And of course, that just didn't happen. Biden was heckled by some random guy in a crowd during one rally, and that was it. There's no political affiliation with the guy or anything like that. Boogie's just somehow interpreted this as an evil Trump supporter charged the stage and tackled the president in the middle of a speech. So maybe guys just don't take his political opinions too seriously when he's making up stories like that to win a fucking Twitter argument. The meltdown only stopped though when he had something else to cry about, and on this occasion it was Kiwi Farms. His entire meltdown and rewriting of history about Kiwi Farms is being covered on a separate livestream I'll link below. I just knew it'd be too long for this already long video. On the 16th of July, Boogie randomly had a meltdown as well because people pointed out that he stole his recent YouTube video idea from Dick Masterson, so he gets pissy about people even suggesting that he would even watch someone like Dick Masterson. Play the clips.
Well, the worst part is we were gonna do a show. Boogie and me were supposed to do a podcast together.
Oh, you guys are starting a podcast? What will you call it?
We were going to reboot The Biggest Problem Show on September 11th.
Our two guests today, standing for The Mandalorian. First up, we got Boogie2988. What's up, Boogie?
You saw me tweet this out. It got like 2,000 likes. So, you know, a lot of people were retweeting it. We're talking about restarting The Biggest Problem, that show where we debate pointless things. Like a once-a-month thing where you and I have it out over something trivial and pointless, trying to find the biggest problem in whatever it is. Would you be down to try something like that? I think it would be great.
So, you know, I've got the new travel channel. I'm traveling a lot, but I think if we were on a monthly schedule, we could do something like that.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't want to, trample on all the negativity that surrounds the old show. I would prefer we started our own format or something like that. But absolutely, dude.
And of course, I wasn't the first one to point out this very obvious lie, so Boogie immediately backpedaled and said, "Oh well, actually, I would be willing to do podcasts still with Dick Masterson. He just needs to change the name of the podcast." It was like 15 minutes between him like saying he doesn't like Dick Masterson and how dare you say I'd watch him, to him then turning around and being like, "Actually, I would still like to do podcasts with him." It's just like, fucking, what the fuck? Pick one, Jesus Christ. They are so opposite. It's not like his usual lie. These are so fucking opposite. And I also think this is why people say like Boogie's a fence sitter, because he immediately walked back the point. But it's not. It's totally the opposite of that. Boogie's a narcissist and a manipulator. He thinks people are genuinely fucking stupid, and he just thinks they'll buy whatever shit he says is the truth. But if you call him out, he'll really quickly run it back, because he'd rather be seen as a fence sitter than being an obvious liar and manipulator. Because Boogie's such a kind and compassionate person, he promoted yet another charity GoFundMe, which people who watched my most recent livestream got a teaser at. And yes, guys, I occasionally do live stream now and then, so if you ever want to hear me ramble about literally fucking nothing for 2.5 hours, stop by and say hi. But the charity he promoted had two major issues. The first being, well, Boogie never donated to it, because he never fucking donates to these. And secondly, it was closed by the time he fucking shared it, so Boogie paid so little attention to it, he didn't even realize it was fucking closed when he shared it. It's amazing. It was one of my favorite of his fucking, look at me guys, I'm so charitable fucking cases recently. Towards the end of the month, Boogie came out with the outstanding take that a quarter of all foster kids have developed PTSD, which is twice the rate of actual veterans. Of course, he gets pushed back for this potato IQ take and immediately blames just some random friend for it, because it's just so damn amazing that Boogie literally always does this. Anytime he says something incredibly stupid or cunty like the Uvalde thing, he always just randomly says, "Oh, that was a friend who made me do it. Oh, a friend told me to do it. Oh, a friend gave me that information, so it's not my fault." Like, I'm amazed he just didn't blame his newly developed fucking autism for it. And because Boogie's a man who's definitely not going through a midlife crisis, he has now dyed his beard and trimmed it so it looks like Keemstar's beard, because Keemstar is like his internet daddy as the only large content creator who will still fucking talk to him and acknowledge his existence. It's also really funny because he pretended that it was his girlfriend who trimmed the beard for him, because, I don't know, he's such a manlet that he doesn't realize that men often just trim their own beard, so he thinks people will buy that it was like someone third party trimming his beard. It's like, no, it's very easy for men to trim their beards. Like, I know he doesn't really do it very often because he looks like a fucking hobo, but it's very easy. This is also like the only time, more or less, this month that he mentioned having a girlfriend, and the only other time was, I think, like the same date on a live stream. So either this was the only time he could like afford to have his sugar baby come around, if she even exists, or it was the only time he's remembered that he was pretending to have a girlfriend. You know, kind of like how he was doing earlier this year, where he pretended he was dating a girl for 6 months and would routinely forget about her until someone would bring her up, and he's like, yeah, my girlfriend, yeah, we're still having the sex and the dating and the stuff. It's really embarrassing, like, that people have to actively remind him that he has to pretend to have a fucking girlfriend. Like, just don't do it. Just be single. Just be happy to be single. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? You're pretending you don't care about any of these things, so stop pretending you have a girlfriend. It's really embarrassing because you're really bad at remembering to pretend to have a fucking girlfriend, dude. Boogie also ended this month off with a video about his therapy, where he says he doesn't think he'll keep posting about it on YouTube anymore. And in my opinion, it's because his view counts have been pretty fucking low for them. But he's saying he might make it members-only content. Like, who the fuck? Well, guys, pay $5 a month if you want to hear me complain about my mental health. Like, fucking imagine the gall of doing some shit like that. The video itself is incredible, as it just suddenly cuts off mid-sentence at the end and he never bothers to fix it, how he used it to promote his YouTube membership, and how he talks about how he isn't a believer during it, but he thinks there might be a God, but he's not sure. This is like 2 months after he claimed he literally spoke to God several times after his car crash. How the fuck do you forget a lie that big less than 2 months later? This is why when people say, "Oh, ThatDarnIrishman, you're gonna change his fans' minds and convert more of them away from him," and stuff like that, I have no interest in trying to do that, because if you're one of his fans and you've literally heard him say that he both spoke to God and is literally the reborn Messiah figure, and then like a month or two later he says like, "I don't even know if I believe in God, and I don't know if God exists," or anything like that, then you are fucking clueless, and there's no chance anyone will ever be able to convince you this guy isn't making up shit for attention, okay? Yeah, that's really my entire opinion on the matter. I'm not here to try and convince people that Boogie's a dickhead or anything like that. I am literally cataloging and laughing. That's all I intend to do. Like he also did with TikTok this month, at the start of the month he also outlined how Twitch is dying and how he's moving to YouTube more because Twitch is dead and blah 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 blah, all the standard shit he does, which is weird when this is one of his most active months on Twitch in probably a year, where he streamed twice on his own channel and once on a friend's channel. He also then got involved in the Twitch drama that came up recently, and no, not that one. Kind of that one, but not really. It's the one where they're changing the pay grades and all that. I don't care. It's not something I'm interested in at all because I'm not really a streamer. But once again, it just feels like sour grapes by Boogie, where he's just trying to twist the knife a wee bit because he's unhappy Twitch doesn't really support his content anymore. He did, however, find his own take so damn funny, he literally retweeted it an hour after he posted it originally, really hoping to get some attention on Twitter, which obviously it didn't. The first stream on Twitch this month was on the 10th. It was with a friend called Mediocre Films you had never heard of before. It was pretty much just the host and Boogie watching a pretty dull movie called Soul Taker, so the vast majority of it really isn't overly interesting because it's just them trying to riff and be funny, and it's kind of dull, honestly. It's about 3 hours of my life I ain't fucking ever getting back. There were a few funny highlights, such as Boogie's retelling of the Frank Hassel story, where he now states directly that Frank baited him into inviting Frank to his house, which is a fucking amazing claim. It is so like, yes, I fucked up, but it wasn't my fault that I fucked up. This internet troll tricked me into me inviting him to my house. He also states that he literally had to fire the warning shot because Frank was, quote unquote, breaking the front door down and knocking the front door down. He also once again jokes about a girl who was his friend in high school dying, and I think he means Danny, you know, the black token girl he keeps bringing up when he wants to pretend to be woke. That's the girl he also joked about dying of double cancer, but weirdly this time he never refers to her as being his girlfriend, but it's like the only girl I can think of that fits the mold, so I guess that's 2 different live streams now. Boogie has joked about his first girlfriend dying of cancer, so alright, cracker, I guess. He also mentions his break from Twitch, which is something he's mentioned a few times this month. On this occasion, though, he said he took a break just because people were clipping his streams out of context and, quote unquote, found ways to make them seem worse than they were. So, to Boogie, apparently no longer thinks saying $3 is a lot of money for a black person, that's no longer bad, and just the trolls framed him and somehow used magic to make that seem bad. We also got this absolute gem of a fucking clip.
Are you excited?
Have you started the movie?
No, we haven't started the movie. This is that's just a person I'm looking at. That's a person. Can you say hello, person?
Hello, weird.
Hello. You sure have grown since the last time I've seen you.
Who, me?
You're getting tall. Both of you. You're getting wider.
The first of his own streams was on the 13th. Yet another example of a really low-effort stream where he just jumps on to talk about the most recent controversy of the time, this one being the whole Ariel being black issue, which of course is an issue I've seen lots of people on the left saying, like, oh, the right are so upset about this, but I really haven't seen, like, anyone on the right even fucking talking about it because who gives a shit, it's a Disney movie. Boogie starts with a Francis impression about, 4 times in a row, which includes him hysterically laughing at his own jokes and literally shouting, "That is so funny!" at one of his own fucking jokes. Like, peak fucking narcissism.
M-I-C! I see you race baiting! K-E-Y! Why? Because you're woke! Oh, shit. That is funny. Wow. Oh, fuck. I haven't streamed on Twitch in like a month.
I don't think any of you will be stunned by his opinion on the issue. Literally, he doesn't care about it. I just don't care whatsoever. It's a Disney movie, guys. But then he starts an entire live stream to rant about it, and that anyone who has an issue with it is literally like racist Hitler monster, and he's done a lot of research on this. He, of course, does give people a chance to disagree with him, though, saying this is a no-judgment zone. And then the second anyone disagrees with him, he starts calling them overly sensitive and everything like that. And he starts, like, trying to shit on their points, which, of course, he can't do because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about 90% of the time. He seems to realize, though, that he's pissing people off, so he backtracks and then claims he's a fence-sitter centrist on this, who can, enjoy both Jordan Peterson and the Black Ariel, because, he seems to think those two things directly contradict each other. But then, of course, he then starts ranting about how much he doesn't like Jordan Peterson, though, and likes Black Ariel, so he defeats his entire fucking point about himself. It makes why would you bring that up as an example? It's like, well, I can like this and this, however, I don't, and I hate this, and I like this. It's like, okay, so you're not a fence-sitting centrist then? You literally just... It was fucking baffling. All of his streams this month have been fucking baffling, if I'm being honest with you. And of course, though, someone at one point does actually bring up like a totally reasonable, totally solid opinion on why they disagree with the Black Ariel thing, and Boogie just stares blankly at the fucking screen for a little while before going, who cares? And then ignores any follow-up point from the guy, because Boogie has his opinion and he doesn't want to have his mind changed, even though he's a fence-sitting centrist who can see all sides of the argument. The second someone defeats his point, he's like, no, who cares? No one cares about that anyway. Let's move on. It's so fucking funny. He does also, however, make a big point that he doesn't care about politics at all and how it's so unimportant to him. And literally, guys, when I think of you as a human first, and then what breakfast cereal you like, and what political opinion you have is the 50th thing I would ever think about. And then he goes on to a 3-day long meltdown about Republicans and conservatives and anyone slightly right wing of him. I just don't get it. I really don't get it why you're that deliberately blatant with how fucking stupid you are. Apart from the general controversy, he does have several other talking points, like saying how he hasn't gone to the gym in 3 weeks because therapy has made him depressed, because obviously, once again, that can't be his fault. How he physically cannot sleep on his back because he has PTSD about being stabbed in the stomach when he was a child, despite then immediately saying how he often sleeps on his back in a recliner chair. Sleeping on your back is sleeping on your fucking back. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It just sounds like a totally made up story when he literally can't keep it straight for one sentence. He also talks about a terrible podcast idea he has where he's inviting other washed up or viral stars to talk about YouTube fame, where he says he has 2 big guests lined up, which I fucking highly doubt. He also brings up his imaginary girlfriend again, saying how people know she's a real girlfriend because he can't afford to buy sugar babies anymore. Maybe you only mention her once a month, because like I said, that's the only time you can fucking afford. He literally is scraping together his YouTube check for an entire month to invite a girl around to be like, can you hold my hand? Can you hold my hand tonight, please? I'll get you some more $18 sushi if you hold my hand. Oh, it's just, like I said, I don't get it. The streams this month have been the real fucking highlight, if we're being honest. We get the standard narcissism shit, though, as well. There's a lot of fucking e-begging, where he's, making a deliberate noise at one point, over and over again. He keeps making a deliberate noise, saying, I will only stop when people donate. Literally. And he keeps going for about 2 minutes before someone fucking donates, and then he finally stops. He also tries to manipulate his Twitch audience into donating more to convince them to stream more on it, and also then spends a solid 5 minutes making jokes where he spends 30 seconds between each joke laughing at his own joke. It's so fucking cringe. It literally is him doing a goofy voice and saying dark things at the same time, because he somehow thinks he's invented this, and this isn't a really standard thing for people to do Disney characters but dark. And he sits there and just I'll play you a couple clips from it here.
I'm weird as shit, Daddy!
I'll stop doing this if I get 1 subscription.
Daddy hurts me. Daddy hurts me. Daddy hurts me while I sleep. Daddy hurts me. Daddy hurts me. Daddy hurts me while I sleep. Hi everybody, what's up? It's me, your boy Grim Graham, and I'm here to talk to you about MetaPCs.com.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, X-Underlord. Thank you, Uncle Chris. Thank you, supposedly Greg. I watched my father die drowning in his own blood. The Republicans want to take away the Juneteenth celebration. Yuck. The leftists won't quit until every white person's dead. Yuck. When we're done gardening, I'm going to go tweet the N-word. Whenever I ejaculate, I go, woo!
The last stream he did was on the 20th of September, and it's probably one of the most e-begging streams he's done in quite a while, where he will repeatedly bring up wanting to do a hype train, or asking, oh, can we get a hype train going? Or like complaining then when the hype train ends. He even seems to be trying to introduce like text-to-speech into his streams to try and get more money, but because he couldn't get it to work, it was just really obvious this time where he's just typing in jokes and stuff like that, and then playing them on stream and reacting to them like it's the first time. But because he's really bad at typing, he like reads out the joke to himself as he's typing in, and then plays. It was so awkward, and also all the jokes are like, oh, daddy, don't finger my butthole. Stuff like that, just like trying to be like, lol, molestation jokes, am I right, guys? Like, I'm glad Boogie hasn't learned from his whole, like, don't do edgy jokes thing because it doesn't really work for you. You know what he claimed like a month ago, was it, that he was doing an Andy Kaufman-esque character and being offensive and all to like mess around with people, but he's realized that was a bad thing and he's so sorry for doing it. Like, we're literally just back to doing that again. He also touches on the Twitch controversy, where he makes up a story about how in 2018 a Twitch rep was trying to convince him to get a better contract to earn more money, but he turned them down because he would only be allowed to stream on Twitch, and that would make him lose money on YouTube. You know, even though he never streams on YouTube, so it was clearly a lie. Like, he's only started doing that since like 2019. I don't know, it's just like he's trying to manipulate his fans into donating more as well to convince them to stay on Twitch as opposed to YouTube, doing the whole like, well, I'm only here, guys, because you donate so much and support me so much, but, you know, on YouTube I do get more people and I'm starting to make more money on it, so who knows, but, you know, you guys donate so much, I'm going to stay, you know, it's just shit like that. It's so very blatantly manipulative. I'm also kind of like disappointed Boogie didn't make a video about the recent Grand Theft Auto leak, mainly because his take on it is so fucking bad, because he says he doesn't like that there was a hack because it takes away from the developer's hype train, so it's like going to affect their ability to get pre-orders and shit. Like, the dude is so anti-consumer nowadays. I'm surprised he didn't make a video on it, because it would have got shit all over and it would have been fucking hilarious. He also outlines a very over-the-top idea for a Francis video for this Halloween that is 100% never going to happen because it would require actual effort. It's called, like, Mountain Boo, and it's about him being chased around by ghosts in a cemetery. I would love to see it, because I would love to see his fat ass try and wobble anywhere, like, but it is never fucking happening. So, Boogie, prove me fucking wrong. Make this shit happen, because that'll be fucking hilarious. Also, there's a weird bit where he kinda, allegedly conspiracy, whatever, admits to abusing his wife during the live stream, which is a ballsy move from him. But of course, Boogie probably doesn't think of it as abuse, where he says he kept telling his wife over and over again during their marriage that one day you're gonna leave me, you're gonna outgrow me, and you're gonna leave me behind one day. Which is a very standard manipulation tactic by controlling people, because you're trying to, like, guilt the person into not leaving you by constantly throwing it in their face. I can't wait for him to wreck on this, or to like claim he never said it, or he meant it in a nice way, or something like that, which is, I don't know how you can, like, nicely abuse someone, but alright, you do you, boo. Of course, as well, we got more complaining about Frank Hassel, which just feels like that should be like a standard in any of these videos nowadays, especially in his fucking live streams. It's more complaining about how people lied that he shot a gun in the school zone, which I've already proven he has. Like, don't make me pull up the fucking map again, Boogie. And also how Frank was literally Hitler for coming to rape his boy butt. You know, just the standard shit. Just the standard shit, boys. He also brings up how much he hates gambling on Twitch, and how it's a good thing that it got banned. Okay, firstly, it didn't get banned. Secondly, Boogie mentions loot boxes are a form of gambling, and he's glad that they got banned too, which one they didn't. But 75% of Boogie's live streaming is opening literal fucking loot boxes for Magic the Gathering. That's literally 75% of his fucking content. How the fuck is he going to come out and say, oh, I'm glad that loot boxes are cancelled and banned and oh, they're evil? That's literally what you're doing. Especially when you're sitting talking about how much money you've made from doing it over the years. If you're talking about that, you are literally promoting gambling, because opening a pack of Magic cards is literally a form of fucking gambling, alright? I'm not sure if it's because he thought Kiwi Farms was down or not, or if it's because he's so small, but his e-begging and rewriting history really started to go overboard, especially on this stream, with him shilling hype trains literally every fucking 15 minutes or so, shilling meta PCs about 6 times in the stream for literally minutes at a time, or how often he was just starting to do jokes, like, and I mean jokes in fucking massive quotation marks, about wanting people to give him money. It's so weird when he talks about how his break from streaming was because he was upset people used to call him an e-beggar, so he took a break. Of course, then later on he will say they took a break because trolls are lying about him, and also that they are autistic and bullying him. Like, it's just so weird. Now that he thinks he's been diagnosed as autistic, he just thinks he can start saying autistic as an insult to everyone like that, and it won't affect like his super lefty PC crowd, which he really needs to be careful about because like they're the type who'll eat him alive for using negative language. And of course, during this, he also repeatedly talks about how Reddit is evil and harasses him, and he never once mentions Kiwi Farms. It's weird. It's almost like he knows it's back and he's scared of it again, or he just made up the whole thing where Kiwi Farms was evil and did everything bad to him, and it wasn't actually Reddit the whole fucking time. And of course, we also get the other standard element for all of his fucking streams, him ranting about the Tesla situation all fucking over again. This time, however, it has him reenacting it, and he claims that if you listen to it, he's doing a preacher voice because he was playing a character, and how if you actually look at livestream fields, the top rated comment is someone saying he's clearly playing a preacher character. Really, Boogie? Really? So if I play this clip here in a second, you're gonna be speaking like a preacher, and donate to me, hand over that money. You're gonna be speaking like that? Okay, well I can't wait. Let's play it.
So then it really started to hit me. I really started to panic. I really started to get scared. So I tweeted out that I was not going to be able to afford this car.
Reddit and Twitter lost their fucking minds. Oh, are you trying to manipulate people into giving you money?
The answer is yes. Give me some money. Also, no, I just realized that when I got home, the car was fucking expensive, and I didn't realize. But the problem is, I was there with Jesse. Jesse was buying the car anyway. For your future car, you can get a used one. Hopefully, you can get one eventually. So don't be jealous just because I bought a car. You can buy a car too. This is my first brand new car. I guess when I say something like,
hey, everybody, if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription laying around, don't forget, you could give it to me, and I would love to have it. Amazon Prime gives you a free subscription every month, and if you click that button and it's your first subscription, I'll give you a warble, and I'll give you a shout-out, and I'll say thank you very much, and I'll be so grateful, everybody, right?
But that's just Twitch, right? I think the thing that really got me in trouble is when I almost bought a Tesla, and then I did my preacher character, and I was like pretending I was being hyperbolic, obviously, but it went viral on Reddit. But I was doing like this. I was like, so everybody do me a favor, reach down into your pockets and give me your money. I know you guys want to pay for my Tesla, so give me your money and I'll gladly do it. I'm going to use your money. One of you could give me $100,000, or two of you could give me $50,000, or four of you could give me $25,000, but we all know you got the money, so give me the money, right? I was doing that, and that went viral on YouTube because they thought it was real. And so maybe that's where it came from, but did they actually pretend that wasn't comedic hyperbole? Yes. And it was so funny, on the Reddit thread, one of the top comments was, he sounds like he's doing a preacher character.
Incoming donation.
He sounds like one of those preachers that beg for money. Of course I did! That was the bit!
And yes, boys, of course, I checked livestream fails, and there are hundreds of comments, and only 2 of them mention the word preacher, both of which saying Boogie is just a lying thief like a modern-day preacher, and only both of them have 2 or 3 updates, so hardly the top-rated fucking comment. So, yeah, bullshit there, Boogie. He also finishes his story then by saying, this is fucking outstanding, boys, so fucking buckle up here, that he only didn't get the Tesla because he was upset about being called a beggar, even though he had a business plan to get it to look like a DeLorean, and how he was going to take it around to all these car shows as a famous YouTuber so people would be interested in what his fucking car was. Yes, I'm being fucking serious. And how this is going to get him to meet Elon Musk. Yes, I am also still being fucking serious. So for all those other times where he said, I wasn't going to do it because I couldn't afford it, all that shit, nah. Apparently he had all these business plans that was going to make it like a profitable business for him. He just didn't do it because evil Reddit called him a beggar. Fuck me sideways, boys. He also then ends the stream by making up a story that one of his close friends became obsessed with QAnon, and how all QAnon fans are the same. They're all like middle-aged, unattractive, fat men who hate blacks and women, and they just blame them to try and avoid accepting any blame for themselves being an idiot. So, you, Boogie? He even goes so far as to say this friend of his smells really bad and is awful at everything and sexually harasses women and is an awful person. So you Boogie, like it's like the straw man he makes is so bad. So is this what he pictures me as when he said I was a QAnon conspiracy nut? Because I'm going to make a point. I am none of those fucking things, my dude. Like, Jesus Christ, Boogie. Oh yeah, also, sorry, he mentioned Francis is a clear narcissist as well to end the stream, and how Francis is also definitely not him. Do you remember earlier on I said in the stream we didn't have to wait a full month for him to retcon him being Francis again? There you fucking go, my dudes. I'm also going to do a special side here thing, because we have a podcast by a fellow Northern Irishman. It's weird for me that the longer I hang around with lolcows, the more Northern Irish people I seem to encounter. Like, there's not even like 2 million of us, but for some reason I keep bumping into Northern Irish dudes in the lolcow community. Like, be it Keffels visiting Northern Ireland to pretend to get swatted, to this guy interviewing kid behind the camera about Boogie, or to like some random dude who's like a major part of Wings of Redemption's online gaming team now. I don't know, it's just really weird. The podcast, it does directly mention Boogie in the title, so I thought I might as well give it a listen. The Boogie section, though, is only a few minutes long, and it's totally worthless, mainly with Michael outlining that him and Boogie will routinely text each other to pitch comedy ideas and ask each other how they're doing and all that shit. I didn't think there's really much to gain from this, because kid behind the camera during the interview is still trying to pretend that his terrible YouTube videos and his awful prank videos are all like 100% legit, and you should believe that they happen for real and everything like that. So I just thought I should mention it. The Northern Irish dude is the RGB Gaming Podcast, so give him a wee bit of a shout out. I'm going to stick a link in the description because, you know, I gotta support the homeboys, I guess. Boogie's YouTube activity this month has been pretty lackluster, if I'm being honest, with only a single stream this month to try and keep the memberships ticking over again. The 2 videos about Kiwi Farms that I covered. A Jesse skit that is only interesting because he keeps forgetting how to spell his own character's name, like I said. Another fucking Francis video, and a few videos about his therapy, another exploiting his dead mother, and a few wee drama ones as well. We open up our YouTube activity with his first and only YouTube stream of the month. It's a standard unboxing affair, you know, when he's opening a loot box, those evil loot boxes that should be banned because they're evil gambling. There's lots of, oh, I got a card. Oh, I didn't get a card. Oh, if someone donates, I'll open another pack. You know, that kind of shit. It's incredibly fucking dull. He did keep the manipulation tactics for his viewers, though, telling them that I'm a Twitch streamer mainly, guys, but if you buy more memberships, that might convince me to keep streaming on YouTube. Like, at one point he even says, if you give me, like, 50 memberships, he will start weekly membership-only streams. So I'm assuming he never got that since he didn't do that in the end. Or he did get it and just decided not to do it because that would be the most Boogie thing in the world to do. Boogie is a narcissist, though. Like, he'll constantly mention the viewership figures on his live streams or how many views he's getting on his like YouTube videos and all. So there's no way, in my opinion, he will do a live stream where he's streaming to less than 50 people at a time, because it's the same reason why like Chantel Foodie Beauty won't do it. Why she would go like, I'll make a membership only stream and ha ha ha, fuck you guys. The evil trolls can't watch them. But then she never does it because she knows she'll be streaming to like 100 people and it hurts her ego, so she can't gloat. I've got 1,000 people watching me live. So there's no way Boogie's going to do it. He's exactly the same as people like that. The only really interesting thing about this is that, firstly, he hasn't streamed in so long that he actually fucked up starting the stream, even worse than I did the other night, which was for my 3rd ever live stream, by accidentally creating a 17-second long video and then taking literally like 3 to 4 hours to set up the next one. The second interesting thing, though, is at the end, he suddenly says he doesn't believe he actually has autism, despite it being talked about a lot in therapy, which is weird since then on every other platform, he 100% agrees that he is now autistic and uses it as an excuse. One of the reasons he thinks he might have autism, though, is because he likes Magic the Gathering, and he says it's a social game that convinces him to be social in real life. And he doesn't like online games like League of Legends because everyone on there's terrible and everyone in real life is nicer. And how he doesn't want to deal with anyone from League of Legends because they're all evil, racist people who are mean to him if he makes a mistake. Like, if you have a memory, this doesn't make any fucking sense, because literally last month, Boogie said he had to quit Magic the Gathering for a full decade because he was at an event and it triggered his PTSD because it's so stressful, because everyone there was being aggressive and violent and there were fist fights and all, and people were punching judges in the face and stuff like that. This doesn't make any sense, especially when Boogie also has previously said, like 10 years ago, that around 2010-ish, he was so racist and toxic playing League of Legends he literally got banned. How the fuck would you get banned in 2010 when League of Legends was at its peak toxicity by being too fucking toxic for League of Legends? Like, how the fuck? Next up are the two videos about Kiwi Farms, which were covered along with the related tweets on one of my live streams, which I'll link below. Long story short, because that's 2.5 hours long, Boogie makes up fucking loads of stuff, actively says he supports hacking websites, illegal government seizures of private property, and citizens losing access to legal aid and services because they connect to a website he doesn't like. He also retroactively changes history and claims that Kiwi Farms literally caused his divorce and also his fake suicide plans in 2019. There was so much fucking nonsense. I ended up going for 2.5 hours, like I said, and even then I missed a whole pile of stupid shit that he said. Highly recommend watching though. The two videos are really funny. Go and watch them. They're great crack, honestly. There was also a Q&A video this month, which is the first in a while. A lot of it was pretty lame and uninteresting, but he did claim once again that he's finally ready to get under £300 thanks to his therapy, which if you've been following him for any length of time, you will know he's claimed this back a decade ago during Boogie Down 550, or how he said he was going to do it on the run-up to his wedding, or on the run-up to his gastric surgery, or when he started doing the swimming this time, or when he started getting ready for the boxing this time. He's made this claim constantly, so I don't think there's any more credence we can put into it than all the other fucking times. Also, as a man who's perpetually crying online about things that don't involve him or don't matter, he says he doesn't cover gaming news anymore because it's too negative. As, you know, he makes a video this month about Twitch drama, but Disney movie drama, the obesity crisis, a webpage being taken down, making a video exploiting his dead mother for views once again. But, you know, I'm glad he drew the line at video games being too negative for him to talk about. He also covered going back to his hometown for his origin story, where he says he wants to redo it now and maybe do an extra part because apparently McJuggernuggets was the one who totally ruined the entire series by making it into a skit. You know, despite Boogie very clearly acting during it, or staging props in his old house, or telling his mum's grave that he had 4 million subs on YouTube. No. It was McJuggernuggets' fault for saying, "Whoa, dude, I can't believe that was unlocked," once or twice in the fucking videos. No, it's all McJuggernuggets' fault. It's so fucking funny. Also, with like no self-awareness at all, he touches on how his therapy has taught him to not care what other people say before immediately going into a rant about conservatives and Republicans. It's just bizarre. It's just like, why do you say it so often when you so clearly still get upset about it? It makes no fucking sense. He also did 2 character sketches this month. One of which is Jesse, which, like I said, I couldn't give 2 thundering fucks about because he's literally as funny as childhood leukemia, and another is Francis, which I didn't watch because I saw him do the whole fucking Francis skit about 3 separate times on his first live stream. You guys could just write it in your head if you really want to. The only funny bit was afterwards he did the same thing he usually does, where he posts up online and it's like, well, I must be doing something right, because apparently he got negative comments on it, the same way he did when he was doing his Francis M. She You rant, or any of his other fucking rants, pretending that people care about his opinion to act like he's some beacon of cultural speech when people, like, literally don't give a single shit about what he said, because he's crying online that people are upset about a Disney movie. And not realizing the irony that he is literally crying because he's upset that people are upset about a fucking Disney movie. He has this weird thing in the fucking skits where he's like, oh, all these fans, they all love Disney and are obsessed with Disney and go to Disneyland 3 times a year and they get all the toys and all and they're big children. And it's like, Boogie, that's what you do. You're like the only one who does that. You're the one who goes like, I wanted to kill myself in 2019, so I went to Disneyland 4 times to spend all my fucking money. You're the man-child here. It is so weird when he projects that onto people who don't like Disney. The people who don't like Disney aren't the ones going to fucking Disneyland. How the fuck does that make any sense? He also made a video about fat people this month, and I watched it on live streams, so I didn't really feel the need to cover it again for this. Just picture in your head him talking about obesity, and you'd more or less have it, where pretty much it's everyone else's fault but him for being fat. How it's his parents' fault for giving him too much food. How he grew up in poverty, again, apparently, and if you're in poverty, you can't help but be fat because you can't afford lettuce. I don't fucking know. Apart from that, Boogie still didn't grow up in poverty. I will fucking die on this hill. He did not grow up in poverty if he's able to afford every fucking games console. He also posted a video of him shopping for Halloween decorations, which is quite literally just him shopping for Halloween decorations. Like, I will never get that 4.5 minutes back in my fucking life. We also got another therapy video with him, not even trying to make a fucking thumbnail this time. It's like 12 minutes long, and it's probably his most frustrating video of the month. It's another of those videos where he starts off by staring going, it's gonna be hard for me to do this. Say he's been doing like therapy since he's 15, which makes it so weird that he's acting like this is the first time he's ever been in therapy. During the video, he says that a decade ago he sorted out his childhood issues and got over the majority of it, which is weird when about 80% of his fucking online content is literally just him complaining about being fat and about how his childhood caused it and how his parents caused it. You know, his parents who died 12 to 13 years ago at this point, and it's been 30 years since he lived in their fucking house, but it's still their fault that he's fat. It's basically just him ass-patting himself the rest of the time, saying how his therapist taught him he needs to love himself, but secretly, guys, I hate myself despite how amazing I am, and how everyone keeps telling me amazing I am, and how everyone keeps telling me I'm a great person. It's so bizarre. He even repeats the fucking lie that he gives people money online. He sneaks into fans' DMs and just gives them money and stops his fans from becoming homeless, when no one has ever confirmed that he's done this. He also then mimics the Etika thing again, where he praises himself for his mental strength and says how, he made it to his age, and most people with his issues don't because they kill themselves. Literally holding a fucking finger gun against his head and pulling the trigger. This is the exact same shit he did when Etika died, saying how, if I wasn't such a titan of mental health and strength and fortitude, I would have killed myself. I'm glad we're on 3 years from that and he still hasn't fucking learned. It just comes across as so fucking narcissistic when he says that he has to learn to acknowledge that he's a good person. And to put it bluntly, you aren't a good person, Boogie. If you have to keep lying and changing the past, you are a bad person. Good people don't need to change history every time they retell a story. Good people don't need to roleplay and make up shit about other people just because they're scared of their opinion on existence. Good people also don't feel the need to censor other people and to take down websites because you're upset that they said you're fat and they won't have sex with you. You don't have to blame long dead people for your current position in life if you're actually a good person. His next video was an experience, as he somehow manages to shill 5 different times in an 8-minute video, somehow makes Twitch changing its payment structure into an excuse to whine about Ethan Klein for the 200th fucking time, and to also randomly praise Livestream Fails for gathering information, which is so damn funny since Livestream Fails was the biggest subreddit sharing his Tesla drama, and he cried and he literally blamed them for ruining his career by misrepresenting him. Basically, his take is just him crying about Twitch cutting the salaries of the largest streamers and saying how they're all probably going to leave the YouTube now and to take their audience with them. Boogie, how'd that work out for Ninja and Mixer again? Mixer's still around, isn't it? Oh, well, fuck. You'd think a professional YouTuber and streamer wouldn't say something so incredibly fucking stupid, huh? Since we're going into the spooky month, and since Boogie finally remembered that Magic Mondays fucking exists, he made a video that has a thumbnail that is somehow less tasteful than my 3 AM challenge thumbnail. And it's also a video where he just tells 2 spooky stories that apparently happened in his life at some point, and, exploits his dead mom for views, yet again. The first story is that when he was a tiny little child, he had a ghost that kept opening the basement door at night, which caused him to have to get up to keep closing it. When he then had a falling out over the phone with his long-distance girlfriend, he obviously didn't exist, he got angry and shouted at the ghost for opening the door, and the ghost closed the door again. Okay, firstly, Boogie claims that he didn't have a girlfriend until he was 16 and it was the black girl, so apparently that's fucking nonsense. Secondly, we have Boogie out here being the fucking ghost whisperer because he was a virgin with rage and he shouted at the ghost and the ghost felt bad about it. It's so fucking great. The second story is the same one he's told us about 50 times about his mom's ghost touching him on the shoulder, but weirdly he adds to it by saying, I've never been able to tell you guys before about the closure I got with my mom before she died, and I don't think I should tell you, but okay, I think I'm finally ready to tell you. And then he proceeds to tell us exactly the same story he's told us so many fucking times before. The long and the short of it pretty much is that his mom wanted to die and refused treatment. So when the doctor showed up to try and treat her, he said he'd fight them if they did it. And then they finally said that they'd call security if he tried to stop them. So he immediately backed down and let them force treatment on his mom against her wishes. Which makes no sense because apparently his mom wasn't mentally incompetent or anything like that. So they can't actually force treatment on someone who is mentally able to turn down treatment. So that already doesn't make sense and is stupid. But if the story is real, then Boogie pretty much just let them work on his mom without her consent because he was like, well, I'm scared of security throwing me out. It is so pathetic and cucked. Especially for a guy who's I stood up for my mom and I said, through my dead body. And then they said they call security, so I was like, okay, but I'm not happy with this. I'm amazed, though, that he left out this very important part of the story.
Chad was there with me, and we watched as she passed, and, eventually your heart rate dropped to 40 beats a minute, 30, and 20, and 10, and then eventually it was so faint that the machine couldn't pick it up, and I held her hand the whole time. and her hand turned cold, and there was no magic to it. You know, there was no angels, there was no chorus of angels, there was no teleportation. She was there one moment and then she wasn't there the next, and that was it. And my sister left the room crying, and Chad stood at the foot of the bed, and I couldn't find the strength to leave. I couldn't find the strength to move, and I sat there with her for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And Chad said to me that day, not my sister, not my brother, but he said something that motivated me, something that will always stick with me, and it meant the difference, all the difference in the world. And he said, Steve, if you want to fuck her, you'll want to do it while she's still warm.
The last video of the month is another video from therapy, and it's Boogie pretty much just outlining how he's always the victim and how none of the previous public fuck-ups are his fault because it was all his bad mental health and all these subreddits blowing things out of proportions and bullying him. And like I said, yeah, he's back to blaming Reddit only because he's totally forgot that fucking Kiwi Farms even exists at this point. He talks about how he doesn't even know what it's like to be human because his parents didn't teach him, how he has no self-confidence, and how he basically can't be held accountable for anything he does, and also that he hates himself and thinks he's a shit person. But, of course, he then does the immediate fuck-up he does every single time, where he cries about how people think he's a shit person, but then very quickly rushes to add, oh, but anyone who knows me in real life thinks I'm a really good person, and I should listen to them because they all tell me I'm such an amazing person. Look, people who actually hate themselves don't always try and correct the criticism of them by saying, well, everyone who knows me actually thinks I'm good. You might think I'm shit, but the problem is everyone who knows me thinks I'm amazing. So, how the fuck do you mess this up in every single one of these rants? It's like impossible to do this every single time, but somehow he manages it, where he can't let himself even criticize himself. So he has to critically say, but everyone knows me thinks I'm amazing. So you don't hate yourself, and this is just your narcissism talking, where you're feigning that you like hate yourself and all, like, ooh, woo, don't be mean to me, guys, I'm beating myself up more than you ever could. But then, I mean, you go, oh, but everyone tells me I'm amazing, and I really should listen to them when they tell me I'm literally amazing. No one fucking does that. Oh yeah, and also because of this new way of thinking, Boogie says he's lost 3 pounds. Problem with that being, this was posted on the 27th. On the 28th, he listed himself as being 398.3 pounds. So, thank you for admitting you'd went over 400 pounds again, Boogie. Much appreciated. You've done the math for me there. And, yeah, guys, that's the video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.